Hola estudiantes a distancia, hola estudiantes en la clase. Aprendemos hoy de gusta y gustan. Gustar means to like. We're talking about liking things. For example, I like dictionaries. He likes to walk. How do we form this? It's a little bit different than the regular AR verbs that we've already learned last week. Do you remember? O, as, a, amos, I, san. We're not going to conjugate this verb gustar exactly the same way. Ethan, are you with us? Guarde el teléfono, por favor. Pues, lo que hacemos es, there are some special little words that we use with gusta and gustan to indicate I like, you like. You maybe have heard them before. Have you heard me gusta before? Me gusta, does that sound familiar? Me gusta means I like it. I like, me gusta. And if I wanted to ask somebody, do you like it? I could, instead of saying me gusta, I would say, te gusta? Do you like it? Does that sound kind of familiar? I know. Me gusta, I like it. Te gusta, you like it. There are some other little words here, and you might recognize this chart of 6 boxes from when we were doing pronouns and verbs, right? These are called indirect object pronouns. Sometimes you might see them abbreviated, IOP, indirect object pronouns. And we use these little words with the verb gustar, because literally gustar means to be pleasing. So if I say me gusta, literally that means it pleases me. If I say te gusta, I'm asking you, does it please you? Me means me, and te means you. Bueno, there are more. If I wanted to say it pleases him, it pleases her, I'll use this word le gusta, or le gusta. He or she likes, or this could be you formal like, the you said form. To say we like, the word is nos gusta. It pleases us, nos gusta. The vosotros indirect object pronoun is os gusta, means y'all like. And finally, if I'm talking about they like, or you all, the ustedes form, you all like, they like, I would say les gusta. Bueno, these 6 little words are necessary if we're using the verb gustar. We have to use them. They are mandatory. We must use these in a sentence with gustar. Have you heard the word mandatory before? Mandatory means you must use them. You can draw a little outline around them and write mandatory, must use. If you're using the words gusta or gustan, one of these 6 little words has to come before it. It just has to, or else it sounds funny in Spanish. Have you ever talked to somebody that doesn't speak English as their first language? Maybe. Sometimes they make mistakes when they speak, and you think, oh, that sounds kind of funny. That's how it would sound. It would just sound kind of funny if you left one of these out. Bueno, let's talk about when do we use gusta and when do we use gustan. We use gusta if we're liking something that's singular, a singular thing, a singular noun. Like, I like pizza. Me gusta la pizza. Or, I like Spanish. Me gusta el español. We also use gusta if we're liking an activity or a verb. For example, I could say, me gusta dibujar. I like to draw. Or, me gusta bailar. I like to dance. We use gustan if we're liking something that's plural, a plural noun. For example, if I like mathematics, I would say, me gustan las matemáticas. Or if I liked the teachers, I would say, me gustan los profesores. ¿Está bien? Bueno. So we know these 6 indirect object pronouns that we absolutely need. We know when to use gusta, when to use gustan. Next, we're going to talk about some optional phrases, these clarifying phrases. They're optional. I'm going to use green. Optional. 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 They are optional. You don't have to use these clarifying phrases, but sometimes they help make what you're saying a little bit more clear. For example, if I said to you, le gusta el español, we're not necessarily sure who's liking Spanish. Is it he likes, she likes, or you formal likes? Likes. If I said, les gustan las matemáticas, I'm not really sure. Who are we talking about? Who likes math? Les gustan las matemáticas. It could be they, the girls, they, the boys, or it could be you guys like math class. So sometimes we use a clarifying phrase in addition to one of these indirect object pronouns to be more clear about who we're talking about. And luckily, most of the clarifying phrases are really easy and they're words you already know. For example, we could say a él le gusta, and then we know that he likes something. I could use a ella le gusta, and then that's really clear that it's she likes it. I could use a usted le gusta. You formal like it. Or finally, I could even use a name. A Juan le gusta. A Maria le gusta. A Caitlin le gusta. A Parker le gusta. This a goes with whatever person or pronoun is in there. We need the a. Again, it would just sound kind of funny in Spanish without it. So notice this circle that says this is optional. It includes the a plus a pronoun or a name. Can you guess what we might put here to clarify? He likes, she likes, you formal likes, a name. What might we put here? Any ideas? Can you make a prediction? A ellos les gustan, les gusta. A ellas les gusta. They like. They, the girls, like. A ellas les gusta. I could say a ustedes les gusta. You guys like. Or I could put in some names. More than one. For example, I might say, a Parker y a Braden les gusta. Parker and Braden like. Or I could say, a Maria y a Juan les gusta. They like. Maria and Juan like. ¿Está bien? I know. If for the others, we don't necessarily need a clarifying phrase because me, te, nos, os, those are pretty clear who we're talking about. If I say me gusta, the only meaning for that possibly is me. I like. It pleases me. Te gusta just means it pleases you. You know who that person is. But if I want to add some emphasis, in English, the only way we can do that is using our tone of voice. I like Spanish, but he doesn't. Do you hear how I really emphasize that pronoun? I like it, but he doesn't. In Spanish, you can add some of these clarifying words to add some emphasis, some oomph, to really make it clear that you like it, or he doesn't, or we do like it. The clarifying phrases we use here are a mí me gusta. In Spanish, you'd also use your tone of voice to clarify, right? A mí me gusta. I like it. A mí me gusta. A ti te gusta. You like it. A ti te gusta. A mí me gusta, pero a ti no te gusta. I like it, but you don't like it. For these two, we're going to use the same pronouns we already know for we and you guys, or we could use names. For example, a nosotros or a nosotras nos gusta. Or we could fill in names. For example, a Lily y a mí nos gustan. Lily and me like it. It's pleasing to Lily and me. A Lily y a mí nos gustan. For this one, similarly, we could use a vosotros or a vosotras os gusta. You guys like it. Or I could fill in some names. Let me see. Eva y a ti os gusta. Eva and you like it. It's pleasing to Eva and you. A Eva y a ti os gusta. Bueno. One last note. If you want to say somebody does not like something, it's really easy to make it negative by just adding the word no. And if you add the word no, it goes right here. It goes before the indirect object pronoun, but it would go after this optional clarifying phrase. So if I wanted to say, oh, I really don't like it, and he doesn't like it either, I would say, a mí no me gusta. Y a él no le gusta tampoco. How are you feeling about this? Yeah? Bueno. So you can see that these clarifying phrases are related to these indirect object pronouns according to their placement in the box. Top left box, me, a mí, goes with me. Middle right box, a vosotros, goes with os. They're like, I think in math they would call that a congruent shape. Is that the right geometry term? If a shape is congruent, I think, can you like put one on top of the other and they match up? Okay, I know. So a ti, te, a él, a ella, le. We can't mix and match them, it would sound funny. So you can use this like a formula. A plus a clarifying phrase, and these are optional. You can leave off a in the clarifying phrase. A, me, the word no if you need it, me, and then either gusta or gustan, depending on if the thing you're liking is singular, is a plural, or is it a verb. Let's try it. Bien? ¿Cómo se dice en español? I like dictionaries. ¿Cómo se dice? What color do I want? Let's use black. I like dictionaries. To say I like, which indirect object pronoun are we going to use? Me, te, le, nos, os, les? Me. There we go. Me. Dictionaries. Would I use gusta or gustan if I like dictionaries? Gustan, because it's a plural noun. ¿Recuerdan cómo se dice en español? Dictionaries? Do you guys agree with Kata? Es correcto. Los diccionarios. Muy bien. And if I wanted to add an optional clarifying phrase, which one would I use? A él me gusta? Those don't go together. Which one? Check your chart. Shout it out if you know it. You can do this. Which clarifying phrase over here? A mí, exactly. And we need the a if we're using me. And that whole phrase is optional. A mí me gustan los diccionarios. Perfecto. He likes to walk. Which indirect object pronoun will we use to indicate he likes it? Me, te, le, nos, os, les. Ooh, that was exciting. We'll use le. Excelente. Le. With to walk, are we going to use gusta or gustan? Gusta, because it's an activity, right? Le gusta. ¿Y cómo se dice to walk? Starts with a C. ¿Recuerdan? Caminar. Excelente, Rose. Le gusta caminar. And if I wanted to specify that he likes to walk instead of she or you formal, which clarifying phrase would I use up here? A mí, a ti. Not ella, that means she. You're pretty warm. A él. A él le gusta caminar. And the a él is optional You don't need it, but it adds some clarity because le gusta caminar could mean he likes to walk, she likes to walk, you formal like to walk. They like the bus. I don't know why they would have a strong opinion about a bus. Maybe it's like a coach bus. Who knows? They like the bus. Which indirect object pronoun will we use for they? Almost gave it away. Lace. For liking a bus, are we going to use gusta or gustan? It's just one bus, right? It's a singular noun. Les gusta. ¿Y cómo se dice the bus? We learned that in lesson 1 last month. El autobús. Repitan, por favor. El autobús. It's kind of fun to say with all those vowels. Autobús. Les gusta el autobús. Not autobus. Autobus? No. Suena mal. Which clarifying phrase could I use to specify that they like the bus instead of you guys like the bus? Ustedes. No, it's one of these. A ellos. A ellos les gusta el autobús. Here's a negative one. We don't like books. Which one do we use for we? Me, te, le, nos, os, or le? Nos. Nos. We don't like books. Oh, we need a no in there. Should I write no snow? No, I see some shaking heads. Where does the no go? It goes before the indirect object pronoun, before nos. No, nos. Means we don't. Which like are we going to use? Gusta or gustan for books? Gustan. Books is plural. There's more than one. No nos gustan. Books. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Los libros. Los libros. Now, this might be kind of hard to see if you're in the back. Lo siento mucho. Bring it up a little bit. I don't know if that helped. No, my picture's in the way. Bueno. Chicos, I want to point something out. This ending of this verb matches the thing being liked, not the person. Nos gusta el autobús. We use gusta because of el autobús. We use gustan because of los libros. We don't conjugate the verb gustar like we would a normal AR verb. Oh, as, amos, san. That's just not how it's used. Here's some additional vocab that might come in handy as we're learning about gustar. Nada, no me gusta nada. Not at all. Not at all. I don't like it at all. It can also mean nothing, which I think you've learned in chapter 1. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? ¿Qué pasa? Nada. Poco means a little. In English, sometimes we say a little and sometimes we say little. Mucho, a lot or much. For ejemplo, ¿te gustan mucho las matemáticas? Do you like math much? Más que, menos que are comparisons. Más, more than. Menos, less than. Más que, more than. Menos que, less than. A mí también means me too, I do too. I like it too. Me too, me also. A mí tampoco means me neither. we would only use a mi tampoco if we're agreeing with somebody that made a negative statement. If somebody said, I don't like history class, you might reply, me neither. But if somebody said, I like history class, and you replied, me neither, that doesn't really make sense, right? I like history class, me neither. That doesn't make sense. Ni means neither, nor, or either or. For example, no me gusta ni el inglés ni el español. I don't like neither English nor Spanish. I don't like either English or Spanish. Oh, have you seen that before? Means or. Is that what you were thinking? E, you've definitely seen that one before. Means and. Bueno, hablamos un poquito más. Dice aquí, gustar literally means to please. Are you writing this down in the back? Gustar means to please, but we translate it as to like. Because if I said, the apples please me, it sounds funny in English, right? We would never say that. The apples please me. You sound like you were an alien from a different planet. In English, we would say, I like apples. It's much easier, it makes more sense. That's just how we speak. We do have an English verb that's kind of a cognate to gustar. It kind of is similar in how it works and what it means, but it's the opposite. In English, we could say, it disgusts me. To disgust is a word that exists in English, right? Apples disgust me. Ugh. Or math class disgusts me. Or geography class disgusts me. So in English, this word has gust in it, just like gustar, but we know that this prefix, dis, means like against or not or the opposite, right? Are you with me? Okay, so this dis means like not like, disgust. So what if we made up an English word that's the opposite of disgust and it's just gust? Does that kind of make sense? I could say, apples disgust me. So why can't I say apples gust me? Meaning they please me, I like them. This is just kind of a hypothetical because this doesn't really exist in English, right? But it could. I mean, we have the opposite word, to disgust. Why don't we have disgust? I don't know. Why not? I know. Me gustan las manzanas, like we mentioned earlier, manzanas means apples. So literally, it means the apples please me. Does your paper say apples? Manzana? Okay. The apples please me. So you kind of have to read it backwards. This me means me. Gustan means they please. Y las manzanas means the apples. The apples, they please me. We have to read it backwards. No me gusta la sopa. La sopa means soup. The soup pleases me not. The soup pleases me not. You would sound like an alien if you spoke like this in English. But that's literally what we're saying when we say no me gusta la sopa. The soup, it pleases me not. Obviously, we can't translate these word for word from Spanish to English because it would sound super funny. You'd sound like an alien. In English, we would just say, I don't like soup. Good enough. Bueno, there are a couple of other verbs that work like gustar, just like we talked about. It disgusts me, it gusts me in English. In Spanish, there are a couple of other verbs that work kind of similarly. One of them is encantar, which means to enchant. It enchants me. What might we say in English? Apples enchant me. You have an idea, Justin?
Make you happy?
Yeah, maybe. Makes me happy. How about I love them? I love apples. Me encantan las manzanas. In English, we would say, I love apples. In Spanish, they say, apples enchant me. Molestar. It looks worse than it is, right? Because that looks pretty bad. It actually is a lot milder than it looks. It means to bother. Apples bother me. That sounds okay, right? Bananas bother me. The texture, ugh, it bothers me. We could say that in English, right? That makes sense. It doesn't mean they molest me. That would be weird. But, I mean, we can tell by looking at this, that this is something negative, right? Right, okay. So if encantar means to enchant, and in English we would say love, gustar means to be pleasing, and we would say to like, what do you think we'd more commonly say in English? Instead of bananas bother me, we might say, what do you think?
I don't like bananas.
We could say I don't like bananas, but then we'd use no me gustan, los plátanos. What do you think? I hate bananas is probably what we'd say. I hate mushrooms. I hate bananas. I refuse to eat them. Una cosa más. Be careful with these verbs that work like gustar. We're only ever going to use them in the third person forms, either the el, ella form or the ellos, ustedes form, because we're just saying it pleases me or you guys please me. We're not going to use the yo, to, etc. forms of these verbs. And the reason is, if I said, for example, start here. If I said gusto with an O ending, like the yo form ending, that means I please. So if I said me gusto, that means I please myself. Which is probably not what you're trying to get at. Likewise, if you conjugated the verb with an to ending, gustas, me gustas means you please me. Probably not what you're trying to get across. You could say it might make sense. But also, if you say this phrase, me gustas, it's kind of like saying, me gustas. Like winky winky, I like you, I have a crush on you, you please me. So be careful with this verb because it might mean a little bit more than you intend it to mean if you conjugate it using the yo form or the to form or any other form other than just the third person forms el, ellos. How are you feeling about gustar? Feeling okay? Feeling very confused? Feeling so-so? Practicamos un poquito. Vamos a practicar. Do I have some practice? I do. Pablo likes maps. ¿Cómo se dice maps? ¿Recuerdan ustedes? In the back of the room. Yeah. Mapa. Mapa is map. And to make it plural, what do I have to do? I don't think these are on your paper, but if you want to write them down as examples, you're welcome to. To make it plural, we add an S. Is it masculine or feminine? El mapa or la mapa? It's el, muy bien. It's one of those weird irregular ones. So to make it plural, we would say los mapas. Pablo likes them. Which gusta are we going to use? Gusta or gustan? Gustan. And then to say Pablo likes them, which indirect object pronoun? Me, te, le, nos, os, or le? Le. And if I want to be really specific and say Pablo likes them instead of le gustan, which could mean he, she, or you formal, we can add his name, right? Do I have to add anything else? I need a little word right in front of his name. The word a. I didn't leave myself enough space here. A Pablo le gustan los mapas. Punto.
Why is gustan with an A on it? the subject who likes it?
Good question. Because this gustan matches maps. Literally, we're saying the maps, they please him. They are pleasing to him. So actually, the subject of this sentence is los mapas.
And so, so with every type of like the teacher reference, for any like inanimate objects, do we use gustar?
It depends. It depends on if the object is.
Oh, masculine.
No, it depends on if the object is a singular object, then you'd use gusta. If it's a plural object, you would use gustan. So maps are plural, so we're going to use gustan. How about homework? We don't like homework. ¿Cómo se dice en español homework? Remember? Have you been studying your quizzes? La tarea. La tarea. Will we use gusta or gustan with tarea? Gusta, because tarea is singular. And to indicate we, are we going to use me, te, le, nos, os, or les? Nos, muy bien. And how about to say we don't? How do I express don't? What word is that in Spanish? No, and where do I put it? In front? Sí. No nos gusta la tarea means we don't like homework. Do I need a clarifying phrase here? Not really. You could use one, but nos gusta means it pleases us. And us, we, that's kind of like, there's no more specificity here. Like, that's probably good enough. We don't really need one. Camila and Tatiana love to study. Do you remember which verb means love? You just wrote it down at the bottom of your paper. Do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Okay, follow-up question.
On the homework, are we going to have to do the clarifying statement?
Maybe. I can't remember. But we'll see. Sorry, I can't answer your question right now. The homework it breaks it down pretty, like, piece by piece. I don't know if you even have to write that many sentences on the homework. Camila and Tatiana love to study. No. Encantar means to love, to enchant, to love. It enchants me. I love it. So we're using encantar in the middle. They love. If they love to study, are we going to use encanta or encantan? Why? Why do we use encanta? You're correct. Why? Study is a verb. If we're liking or loving or hating an activity, we use encanta, gusta, molesta. ¿Cómo se dice to study? Estudiar, muy bien. That's one of the verbs we learned last week. Estudiar. We do not need to conjugate this verb. That's some good news with the verb gustar is that if we're liking an activity, we don't have to conjugate the activity that comes next. They love to study. Which indirect object pronoun will I use for Camila and Tatiana? Me, te, le, nos, os, les? I heard a few people whisper lace. What do you guys think? See? Oh no. See, lace. Should I use a clarifying phrase here? Probably I should, because les encanta means either they like or you guys like, and here we name two specific people. If we name two people, we need two a's. A Camila y a Tatiana. Les encanta estudiar. Son locas, ¿no? ¿A quién le encanta estudiar?
Wait, can you just explain that encanta? Like why it ends with an A?
Sí. Sí. Encanta ends with an A because literally what we're saying is to study, it pleases me. So we're using the third person singular form of the verb. if we said, for example, les encantan, because we thought, oh, Camila and Tatiana, those are two girls, we need the AS form. Then what we would be saying is to study. They please them. And that sounds weird, right? To study pleases them. It pleases them. To study, it pleases them. That sounds okay. But to study, they please them doesn't sound quite right. Does that make some sense? The subject of this sentence is actually estudiar. We have to kind of read it backwards. Pablo hates to sing. ¿Cómo se dice? To sing. ¿Cómo se dice? Cantar. La 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 la. He hates to sing. Cantar. Do you remember which verb we use for to hate? Not encanta, not gusta, but what's the other one? Molestar. If he hates to sing, will we say molesta or molestan? Molesta. Because singing is an activity, it's a verb. To sing, it bothers him. He hates to sing. For Pablo, which indirect object pronoun are we going to use? Me, te, le, nos, os, les? Le. And we need this indirect object pronoun. Le, les, nos, those are mandatory. You must have them if you're using one of these verbs. Molesta, encanta, gusta. Should I add a clarifying phrase to this sentence? What do you think? Sí or no? We don't need one, but it would help because in this sentence it names Pablo's name. How's this look? Pablo le molesta cantar. Do you guys agree with Rose? We need the word a in front. If you're going to use a name, then you need the word a in front.
Where's two? Where's the two?
Buena pregunta. The question was, where's the to? He hates to sing. And the answer is, think back to last week, we learned that these infinitive endings, ar, er, ir, are kind of like the word to in English. The most basic part of the verb. So cantar is kind of like saying to sing. It bothers him, Pablo. So this is kind of repetitive. It bothers him, Pablo. Just how it is. I know this can be a lot of information to take in. The verb gustar is kind of complicated. Indirect object pronouns, that's probably a part of speech that you've never really thought about in English, right? Caramba. We have our subject pronouns like el, ella. Those are the subjects of sentences. Indirect object pronouns are these 6 words. Whew. No tenemos mucho tiempo. Adiós, estudiantes de aprendizaje a distancia.